Hi, welcome to Shattering Limits with Cindy. We're doing another MS Adventures today. This is going to be part 2 of our MS Spasticity series. And in this series, we're going to talk about triggers and what to do to prevent it. So let's get into it. If you have MS, you know the feeling of where everything is going fine, you're feeling fine, you're walking fine if you walk, and things are going no problem. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, bam, it hits. Your legs are frozen, your legs are not working, your legs are jello. It's not working. And that is spasticity, where when the signals are just not communicating from your brain down to your legs. And that is a very frustrating experience. I've had that many a time. Usually there are triggers, well, always there are triggers that happen that make it somewhat predictable, even though we don't want to see them. They're there. We're going to talk about those predictors now and those triggers now. There are 10 predictors, 10 triggers that we're going to talk about today. 9 are, some are subtle, some are more obvious, but either way, they're all there. One is kind of surprising that we're going to talk about at the end, so we're going to go into it at that time. But I want to kind of reveal or go over all of these triggers for people to. So some of them we know, and some of them we're like, oh, I didn't think that would be a trigger, but yes, they are. So these are predictors to help us along the way. So when things like spasticity hits, we could say, oh, okay, that's something that is a symptom of this, and I should pay attention to it. So anyway, we're going to go into those now, and I hope this helps somebody. Okay, the first one we're going to talk about is heat. Heat, hot showers, humidity, those are all bad things for MS. I know we've all heard the analogy between MS and our electrical current not working right. So you have to think of like an electrical current where the insulation is getting eroded, and so the connection between your brain and your whatever body part or something is supposed to be moving is just not working right. Yes, we're all familiar with that. The heat is what aggravates it, or the heat causes it to slow down and just not work right. And I can 100% say that for sure. I have that. When it is hot out, I'm useless. I'm kind of turned to jello. My legs are not working. I've had them many a time, and what I have to watch out for is that I've had this happen during when I was walking, and I can specifically remember when I was walking and it was a nice day and I was going to walk around our development, which is about a mile long. I was up to the challenge. I felt it was good, and when I was walking, I walked around. There was a hill at the bottom, which was fine. Hey, gravity taking me back home. No, when I made it probably about 3/4, maybe a little bit further down, my legs were just not working. I remember one of my neighbors had a yard place, a yard company working that day, and I had to hold on to the side of their vehicle because I just couldn't make it. Then I went around, I sat in the grass. I was sitting in the grass so long. My neighbor came out and he's like, are you okay? And I said, I have MS and my legs are just not working and I just feel I have to rest. And he's like, well, my wife and I can drive you back to your house. Where's your house? And I'm like, right there. It was right down the hill. It was very, very frustrating for me because I could see my house. My house was right there. My husband at the time was just not home, so there was nobody to come and get me. And I'm like, I'm stuck right here. And he's like, you know what? We'll drive you. So they did. They were so nice. They put me in their car. They drove me back to my house. Once I was able to hold on to the garage and things in the garage, get to the house, I was fine. Being able to do that as long as I had something to support me. But that was the thing, is that I overdid it. I overheated myself because it was not hot out. It was probably about in the 70s. But I had overheated my body so much that my connections were just not working, and I was just down and out. Did I have any water? Nope, I had no water. Did I have like a cooling thing or something around my neck? Nope, nope, none of that. I just kind of set out because I said, you know, I'm feeling good today. It's sunny out. Let's go for it. That was the wrong plan. Wrong plan. So anyway, that was one of my many experiences with something being too hot and me overexerting myself. So the heat is my kryptonite, as I've said before. So I want people to watch out for that. The things that you can do if you are planning to be out in the heat are some obvious things. You know, I know some people are saying thank you, Captain Obvious, but it's the obvious things like maybe a wet cloth, a cool cloth on you, a fan, water. Make sure you have water so you can, and not only drink it, but just kind of put it up to your face to help cool you down. And I have like cooling patches that I can put on me as well. So those are beneficial. So anything like that is very helpful that you want to do before you get too hot. Before. And I mean that is key, is that once you're overheated, your system is already short circuiting. So you want to make sure that you're doing something before you get too hot, and put those cooling items on you before that. Okay, so that is trigger number one. Next thing we're going to talk about is the opposite, is cool. It's when it's too cold, then your body kind of freezes up, and so the opposite happens, is that for cold, it's instantly clamping on you, so then your body doesn't work as well too. That's another trigger. I noticed when I was in Colorado and when I was walking and standing, I did go skiing with my friends sometimes, and I was never a great skier. Couldn't do any Blake Diamonds, that's for sure. But what I would notice is that the cold would make it, my legs would not absorb the hills as well. Like you have little bumps as you're skiing, and you want your legs to kind of go up and down, like your knees to go up and down and absorb the shock of the hills, the little bumps on there. Mine wouldn't do that. Mine would mainly stay straight, so I would have to lean, and instead of absorbing the shock of the hill type parts, the little bumps, I would be leaning either side, and I would not do very well at skiing. I was a very basic skier, maybe one past the bunny hill, that kind of thing. So, but I just know that it was when it was cold, my legs would kind of freeze up. In the fact that they would not absorb and bend with when I would do the hills for that. So for that, you just kind of want to make sure maybe there's maybe a heat pack you can put on on either your leg. Like I know I use my hands, but you can also use your legs. Put a heat pack on your legs. You could warm your legs up before you go out in the cold. That helps it as well. So anything to kind of heat your body up before it's maybe enduring the cold for being able to walk or do any activity when you're outside, that is helpful for it. Those are beneficial. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes also. Warming layers so obviously these are kind of obvious things, but putting on layers when you're going to be going out into the cold as well, that can help it too. It's just preparing before some of these situations happen for you. Okay, now we're going to go on to trigger number 3. Okay, now we're going to do stress hormones. Those are the third trigger that we're going to do, and this kind of makes your system go into overload and go into hyperactivity. So yes, there are going to be stressful situations. Everybody's going to have stressful situations, and how you deal with it is what's going to be the situation on how it affects you. So you want to make sure that if it is a stressful situation, you're doing some relaxing techniques. They talk about box breathing, and that's where you hold your breath for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold that for 4 seconds. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and then hold it for 4 seconds, and then you can do that again until you feel more relaxed. So that is a technique you can do. And just if you if you have a stressful situation, also they say like not switching activities really fast, like not going from walking um, to just standing there, or going from standing to walking. That's more the situation where it would be in existence for you. So for me, I know the situation where if I'm ever going in a car, like let's say if somebody's taking me out, or I'm going out, whatever, I'm going out with other people, and they're putting my scooter in, I'll drive my scooter up to the passenger side, and then I'll get in. And usually they'll put the scooter in the car, but what I'll notice will happen a lot of times is that my legs are bending fine on the scooter, but then when I go from the scooter into the car, my legs freeze. And now I'm kind of understanding that more is because I'm switching from sitting to shifting to standing and sitting, going to the car. But my legs will freeze up though. And I mentioned before how a lot of times if my legs are just not working right, somebody will be like, okay, can I bend your legs, or do you want me to bend your legs? That's fine. You go ahead and bend my legs. I'm not hurt by that. It's not painful for me. But that I've noticed that happens very often when I go from sitting in my scooter to sitting in a car and moving and shifting. So I'm doing the quick switch of the activity, and that is causing my legs. So if you also find that with you, try to ease into it, go a little bit slower. I mean, we know this, our bodies are slow as it is, but that is just having your body adjust to the movement instead of a rapid thing. And also just stress. Stress it can be relaxation breathing, or just getting away from some of the things that might be a trigger for it. If it's too crowded, a lot of people get stressful when it's too crowded. And hello, we have the holidays coming up, so that's going to be a big thing. So just say, if people know you have MS, just say, you know what, I'm just going to go rest for like 5 minutes. I just need a recharge. And everybody should understand that. So it's just going from the crowded situation into the not as crowded situation. Okay. Trigger number 4. Okay, this one I think a lot of us do, even if we don't have an MS issue, anything like that. But it's sitting too long. And when people sit too long, your muscles get they need to be moved. They need to have some movement or some stretching or something like that. So when they move, they don't move, they just get stiff. I know when I was walking, and I remember when I was working in Denver, I would sit at my desk, and this is before I knew I had MS, and before I had the optic neuritis. I remember at times my left leg would go numb, which I thought was very weird, because I'm like, why is my left leg falling asleep? That makes no sense. I would have to get up and walk around, and it would usually get alleviated after I would do that for a while. But that's something that people just have to be aware of, that is a trigger for things getting stiff or not working right. Some of the other things they said is just, stretching. And so, yes, that means like even just putting your arms up, going from side to side, and just some gentle stretching. It's not like we're talking about, water, or we're talking about aerobics at your desk, anything like that. It's just some gentle stretching, and just so your body feels some movement. Maybe have your toes, your heels go up and down a couple times. That's fine. Just to keep your body moving for this. Okay, trigger number 5. Okay, trigger number 5 is walking too fast or overuse of your muscles, which I do that all the time. That's just that is me saying a lot of times what will happen is that I will overextend myself or overdo it, which is very frustrating for me. I've had that many a times. We've had it where we were going on a family hike, and I'll be walking, and I was going just fine, no problem. I mean, I felt good. It was a nice day, but we were underneath the trees, so I wasn't in direct sun, and we went the whole way. And then we were going to a military site to take a view, and then we were supposed to walk back to the car. Well, once we got to the military site, I had been feeling fine. I remember, my husband at the time, he's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm feeling good. I think we can keep going." Once we got there, nope, I hit the wall, and my legs were just like, "Okay, I'm done. You overextended yourself." He had to run back to get the car because I wasn't going to be able to make it. So that was nice that we had another person there to go get the car, but it's very frustrating when you're walking and feeling fine and you hit your capacity. And I should have known. I should have said, "You know what, let's stop for 5 minutes," or I don't remember. I think we brought water, so I think we at least had water. But I should have been saying, "I need to stop for 5 minutes, even though I'm feeling okay." And I didn't. I didn't pace myself, and I overextended myself. So that was my own fault. So anyway, that if that happens to you, just know that even though you may be walking and feeling fine, say, "You know what, I'm feeling fine, but I'm still gonna stop for 5 minutes. Just stop, just relax for 5 minutes. It's not gonna cause any issue or a problem. Just say, I need 5 minutes, even though I'm feeling okay. I just want to keep feeling okay." Okay, we'll go on to trigger number 6. Okay, trigger number 6 is not drinking enough water. This thickens your blood and stresses your nervous system, so things aren't working as well. We know this. Water. We had to drink water. I was saying water on the previous video. Yes, coconut water is great. Coconut water should be a staple for everybody. It has a lot of what you need. It has potassium, magnesium, calcium, and electrolytes, and that's what your body needs. Or you can take liquid IV, which is like a powder that you can put into your drink. That is great, but hydration is just necessary for everybody, especially for us, for MS people. But you want to make sure you have enough hydration to keep you going. Okay, now let's go on to number 7. This is infection viruses is being run down. You're not getting any awards just for keeping going, just saying, "Oh, I really have to go to work. This is vital. No, your family, your friends are important. Work is not going to be there for you when you are needing aid and needing assistance. No matter what, your work is work. So you have to make sure that you are not too run down, that you're not taking care of yourself. If there is a virus or infection or anything like that, go to a doctor right away and get that taken care of as soon as you can, because that's something that you need to do for your well-being. If you're not well, then you can't help take care of anybody else. Let's go on to trigger number 8. I thought this one was kind of entertaining. Tight clothing. Anything that's tight around your waist or calves or thighs or ankles is just not good for you. So that means that those leather pants that you love or those skinny jeans that you love, those are not good for you. You want to be wearing loose clothing, breathable clothing, just not tight fitting, so it doesn't cause any issue for you. And when I learned about this, I thought, wow, that's very interesting. Tight clothing. I just never thought, and it just is because it's causing too much of an issue. It's causing a reflex response for you, for the MS people, and so that can cause your spasticity and your legs not to work as well. So sorry if you do have those as a staple of your wardrobe. It's time to get some looser clothing if you really want to be able to move better. Okay, now we're going to go on to shoes. I thought this was interesting as well, because the shoes, it was saying that your balance and your muscles work twice as hard trying to stabilize you, which triggers the tightening of everything. So if your shoes feel too unstable, then that can cause spasticity for people, which I vividly remember. I was not predicted, or I did not have MS diagnosed for me until my 20s. I was 27. I think I was 27, 20. But it was about 30 years ago. But this was back when I was a kid. I remember my shoes I would tie my shoes so tight because I wanted them to make me feel stable. I remember my dad specifically saying to me, if you don't stop tying your shoes so tight, we're gonna make you wear slippers to school. So anyway, I think I must have stopped because I don't remember ever wearing slippers to school. But I do feel more secure in my walk when I was walking if I had stable shoes. Boots. I loved, hiking boots because they would, tie around my ankles. If something was secure around my ankles, that's what I wanted to make me feel stable. And so that is something that people want, and that helps with spasticity relief. So getting boots that if you are going to have, higher shoes on, higher ankle boots, having shoes that are stable and will keep you supported for that time. So that's what you want to make sure. Also having no slip shoes, that's very good. Sorry, the heels, those 3-inch heels, those are just not going to be great for you. And wider toe box shoes, wider toe areas in your shoes. So that means not the little pointy, super pointy shoes that gives you it makes your toes go in. And also shoes with ankle support. Like I said, the boots for me, I really, really liked the boots. I felt very secure in the boots. They were great. Now we're going to go on to number 10, which is kind of a surprise for some people and me. This is hormone fluctuations, and that can affect MS people a lot, or hormones, and so that can affect with your emotions, but also can affect your stability. Hormones directly affect neuron sensitivity, so spasticity can flare even if nothing else feels like it's changed. So if you're like, okay, I'm not in the sun, I'm not cold, I'm not wearing tight clothes, it could be your hormones. It could be a hormone fluctuation. They're saying your cycle, if you're in menopause, high estrogen days, or sudden hormonal days. So those can all affect it, and that is kind of a surprise. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that could affect it at all. So that I thought that was kind of shocking for me. But also, if there is an issue with that, see your doctor and tell them about it and say, hey, I do have MS. Your doctor should know you have MS, but say, I think my hormones are affecting me. Can we do something about that, or do a test, or something along that line? So there might be a supplement you need to take. You might need to take more estrogen or less estrogen or something. Let your doctor diagnose it. None of this is doctor recommended or anything like that. I'm not a doctor at all. These are just things that are possible triggers for your MS, for your spasticity, because having some of these affect us is just, there's so many things that affect us. But if there's something that we can do to alleviate and remedy some of these things, that's what we want to be able to do. But also making us aware of some of the things, like, I didn't really think that this affected me, or this did, or this did. Some of these things might be obvious, like I said, thank you, Captain Obvious. Some of them might not be, like the tight clothing or shoes, and you might be like, wait, my hormones might be affecting me. Yes, they might be affecting you. So hopefully you found some benefit with some of this information. Please press like and subscribe. This is part 3 in the series. The last part in the series is going to be exactly how to manage the spasticity once it does start. So we did talk about some of the things that you can do as far as the triggers go, but this is going to be some things once it absolutely has started, and to help you recover. That's what we want to be able to do, is helping you recover, and making so the recovery isn't as long as it can be for some people. So hopefully you found some benefit for this. Please press like and subscribe, like I said, and give me your comments. Give me your comments on, hey, this is a trigger for me too. You didn't mention this, or something else that helps you or benefits you once spasticity does occur. That's all we want, and that's all we have today. Thank you. Have a great day.